Um, is this working? Yo. Okay. So this is um I kind of don't know how to put this. Hey Brody, how's it going? So I'm gonna be this is not um I don't really hold on, let me see. I don't necessarily like do hey three, how's it going? These types of streams. Okay, I need new mouse pad. Um, I hey Keith, how's it going? Um, I want to like give like a perspective of a person. I may sound a little kind of like you know weird because I'm like still waking up, but um, there is uh a big person that this that I gladly didn't meet. But you know, so I okay. Let's just begin. I had no idea about this guy, like from the way beginning. I'm talking about this guy named Rye-Rye99. Uh, I never knew this guy. I'm gonna be honest. Because um I don't know when he started his content. I think it was like I guess you could call it like the FNAF era content or this FNAF fandom content, where back then, when FNAF was, you know, booming, popular, there was a lot of channels that made these I guess you could say FNAF storylines where I believe it has to do something like you know drama with FNAF characters, and relationships, like ships, animations of it. Um, I call that, I guess you could call it the FNAF boom, in my opinion, the FNAF boom, where um a bunch of channels made FNAF content, where you know I think it was made in SFM mainly, but it's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like I guess you could call it FNAF fan content. The best way to put it. Rye was definitely one of those people that did it. And I never personally watched Rye. I'm gonna be honest. I never I never personally watched him. Um, but but basically, it was one of those channels that just did FNAF ships and FNAF animated series and stuff. Um, Now the reason why I'm talking about him is because not only I one of my friends knows him, but because I actually met Rye through I never really met him until, let me see, I think it was earlier this year. I actually met him earlier this year. Um One of my friends was hosting a birthday party with his other friends. and Rye-Rye was part of it. And what he did was uh, technically birthday ruining for that friend, I think. But so there was this point where I think it took place in audience anarchy. Uh, but yeah, it took place in audience anarchy. Um, basically, sorry, my brain is just trying to fetch the information. Um, so I was part of it, the birthday party, and I guess me and this friend did this, like, you know how audience anarchy works, where we just read the script and act out. Um, so I did it, you know, sorry, I did it, my own goofy way. My friend laughed, but one that stood out was Rye-Rye. He was watching it, play out, and he was kind of a jerk about it. Just how I wasn't that funny and all that. I mean, I understand that, I wasn't that funny, but he was kind of. I guess you could say he was kind of being a jerk about it, about how I wasn't funny and all that, and this and let's just say that you know I kind of went through uh a depressive episode because I believe, let me see, let me look. So this was, I believe, kind of like the start of this year. So yeah, I think that was before I gotten therapy, I think. But basically, I kind of went through this depressive episode. And let's just say when I heard what Rye-Rye said, um, about my act, um, and I what he said about my act, that kind of spiraled me. That kind of like it's either spiraled like into a depressive episode or relapsed. I don't know because I'm not exactly sure when my therapy took place. Um, but basically, um, let me see. Uh, yeah, to bring to um, to add on to it. Sorry, my brain is trying to fetch it. But this friend, by the way, what I'm trying to say is this friend had a birthday party. This friend checked up on me, and it's like, they're not really the type to like say, "Are you okay?" and all that, because it's they don't know how to handle situations when it comes to that. So, um, yeah, they tried to check up on me. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine, when I really wasn't. Uh, and throughout the unfortunately throughout the rest of the birthday party, I was definitely going through the depressive episode because of what Rai said, and they took a picture, like a group photo, and my depressive episode was so bad that I like just walked away, like I walked away, um, and I wasn't part of the group. Like if you see like a group photo, um, that's why I wasn't there when I was there, because I was dealing with a depressive episode, and um the fact, you know, I'm just saying this, the fact that, Rye-Rye was the cause of that, and what's coming out about him now, I think it was a perfect time for me to say that, even though I never knew Rye. That's the thing. I never knew Rye-Rye personally. I never knew him ever. Me meeting Rye-Rye in VR chat, that was the first ever time I met him. First ever. So you could call it a first impression. Oh, and I never knew how this rabbit hole went until recently, because whenever the whole thing came out, I was like, okay, something came out about this person, and I kind of like watched. Um, oh boy, um, a lot of things. Uh, a lot of things kind of came out. About Rye-Rye. I never necessarily knew the person. Like I said, but a lot of people did. Even my friend, uh, the same person who, the birthday party friend, the birthday friend at the time when that happened. Um, so that's why I'm kind of like saying, hey, I actually encountered this person, because um, it is certain, because at the time, what's weird is that I saw Rai like when I was in the birthday party, and Rai was there. I saw him with somebody, and they were very close. They were oddly close. And I didn't pay mind to it, because it was honestly none of my business. But um uh now what deepened this rabbit hole was ETH Goes Boom, actually. ETH Goes Boom apparently has been involved with this individual for, let me see, years, apparently. And I do remember that he did a collab with Rye-Rye, I believe. Um and all I'm gonna say, like, man, there is a lot of people that's been affected. If you go search, um, Rye-Rye and all that, there's like some other people that genuinely got affected. And, you know, when I see this, um, I'm like, wow. It's like, this, you just don't know. Um, yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen. Uh, like, you genuinely just don't know until it happens. Yeah, you don't know until it happens. So I just want to say that whoever was involved with all this, um, whoever's involved with this right person, um, I'm sorry you've been through that, and uh, especially Eth. I feel sorry that he went through it. He's actually a good guy. Doing finesse stuff. In fact, that's actually where I got most of my voices. You know, there is this video for you OG people who watched my old channels. Um, Basically, I did this video about Music Man, where I'll just say Shimbles. That's actually from Eth Goes Boom himself. Um, that's kind of like inspired by Eth, and hearing that Eth was like abused from this individual, that genuinely sucks. Um, I feel bad for again. I feel bad for anyone who was involved. But to be honest, on my part, you know, the person who never knew Rye, which I think I should be glad that I didn't. Um, you know, this sucks. This whole thing sucks. Um, I'm gonna but yeah, this whole thing sucks because the outsiders. The reason why I named it as an outsider's perspective of you know Rye-Rye was because I truly am an outsider with this whole situation. Because like I said, I never knew him. I never personally knew Rye, but other than that first impression, I guess you could call it. Um, yeah, other than that first impression, um, that's kind of all with my experience. However, I do have a friend that has much more experience about Rai Rai. Um, but I highly doubt they want to talk about it. So I'm not gonna push them. So this. Hello, hello, Celia. How's it going? So I I'm probably gonna end this stream. Uh, because that's basically all I have to say. Um, and I don't want to drift topics and be disrespectful about this whole situation. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and you know head out. But I just wanted to before I go to all the victims of Rai Rai and especially East Goes Boom. Um, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, especially when it like stretched out to years. That's awful. Like years. Like Jesus. I'm very sorry that all of you had to go through that and who is like explaining the story. Um and it's like it sucks. The person who you thought was better in your mind turned out to be less. And it's like that happens a lot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like Um, I'm gonna go ahead and like chill out. Um, I was originally going to do like a stream after this, but even I don't know that because I don't want to be disrespectful uh, of the situation. So originally I was going to do like some more Phasmo, but yeah, I don't think it's a good time right now. So um, maybe tomorrow or much later. I don't know, but I don't want to stream right after this because that's not good. But um, yeah, I'm sorry for everyone who went through it. Um, just know you have my support. I'm here if you need me. Um, so thank you so much for hearing my piece. Uh, and I'll see you in the next one. And get some rest. Thank you. So, bye. Um, yeah. So, bye.